everyone, this video will delve into how different types of sources are referenced according to the IIE Harvard referencing style. When you have selected your sources and the evidence you want to use in an assessment, you will need to reference these sources, both in the text and in your reference list. The first thing you'll need to do is identify what type of source you are using. Determining the specific type of sources you're dealing with can sometimes be a bit challenging, but there are several indicators and characteristics you can look for to help you identify the source correctly. In this video, we will be discussing some guidelines to help you differentiate between common types of sources, focusing on how to identify and reference a book, an ebook, a book with editors, academic journal articles, websites, and conference proceedings. There are countless types of sources, such as news articles and YouTube videos, but sources appropriate for academic research are the focus of this video. The first type of source you might come across is a book or an ebook. A book can have one or multiple authors, which is often the case with prescribed textbooks. Books often have chapters or sections authored by different individuals or edited volumes with an editor mentioned. You will always find this information on the cover of the book or ebook, and this will indicate which example you should look at in the IIE referencing guide as a template. When looking for the publication year, edition number, and publisher information, this is usually found on page 2 or 3 of the book, which is also known as the copyright page. Please note, a physical book that you have taken out from the library is referenced slightly differently from an ebook you find online. When using books as resources, you also need to check if the book has editors or authors. Often, prescribed textbooks fall under this category, and you will need to look on the book cover and in the copyright page to see if an editor is mentioned. If this is the case, when using the information or ideas from the source, you should use the Harvard referencing format for a chapter of an edited book in the IIE referencing guide. As you can see in the given example, the authors of this chapter need to be named first, followed by the editors and book information. The next common source used by academic scholars like yourself is an academic journal article. Journal articles are shorter than books and written about very specific topics. A journal is a collection of articles, like a magazine, that is published regularly throughout the year. Journals present the most recent research, and journal articles are written by experts for experts. They may be published in print or online formats, or both. The easiest way to identify if your source is a journal article is to check if the document has a volume and issue number. Characteristics such as a plain appearance with very little color and no advertisements also indicate you are using a journal article. One very handy element included in journal articles is an abstract that you will find at the beginning of the article. This abstract gives a summary of what the article is about and the main arguments the authors have included. The authors of academic journal articles are affiliated with universities, which help in ensuring the credibility of the source. You will also see a clear structure and the inclusion of many in-text citations, as well as a lengthy reference list at the end of the article, to prove that the authors base their arguments on factual, researched evidence. When using the Harvard referencing method, the inclusion of a URL link when referencing a journal article depends on the availability and accessibility of the article online. Here are some guidelines to help you determine when to use a URL link. If the article is available exclusively in print format, or if you accessed it from a physical source, such as a library, you do not need to include a URL link. The first example shows a Harvard reference for a journal article that was taken out from the library. The second example is a Harvard reference for a journal article found online that has a direct digital object identifier, also known as a DOI number. Most online journal articles have a DOI number, and you should include the DOI instead of the URL link, as DOIs provide a persistent link to the article, ensuring long-term access, even if the URL changes. The last example shows you how to reference a journal article that is freely available online but lacks a DOI. In this case, you can simply include the URL link to the article. Ensure that the URL is reliable, accessible, and does not require a subscription or login. Normally, a DOI number can be found right on the journal article itself or on the database in which you found your source. You just might have to search for it. Websites may have a homepage URL or a specific page URL. Look for the website's title or name, the author or organization responsible for the website's content, and publication or update dates if available. Websites often contain articles, blog posts, reports, or other web-based content. If using a website, please ensure that you are using the website of a credible organization or author. Wikipedia is not an academic source. Conference proceedings are compilations of research papers presented at conferences or symposiums. Look for the conference name, year, and location. Proceedings usually include individual papers with authors, titles, and sometimes page numbers. These are general guidelines, and variations may exist. Always assess the specific characteristics and details of the source you're working with to make an accurate decision on the type of source you are using. If you are still uncertain, consulting reference guides, databases, or seeking guidance from the Information Center can provide further assistance in identifying the source type accurately. Remember, when referencing any source, you should always refer to the IIE referencing guide to ensure you are meeting the IIE referencing standards. Happy researching and referencing!